Good morning and welcome to Tool Talk. I'm Frank, and today we're going to be talking about the Zeta P2 by Lamello. So today we're going to be talking about the different connecting systems that you can achieve with the Lamello Zeta P2. There's the Clamex, which is the clamping motion. There's a Tenzo, which is a finger connection. And then there's the Dvario, which is more of a sliding motion. First, we're going to be talking about the Clamex. The Clamex is a very simple cam-operated feature, quarter turn to tighten. And to put that unit together, this goes in the other half. And with those two together, you turn the cam quarter turn, and it's a snug joint. The Clamex will give you 100 pounds of clamping pressure for each piece. We're going to show you the Clamex on a 45-degree miter. The joint goes together. There's a 6mm hole in the back. I'm going to put my Allen key in there, give it a quarter turn, and there is adjustability in there. There's a little bit of sliding laterally to get everything lined up. But that's the joint. It's very tight, 100 pounds of pressure. Clamex comes in two sizes. The 14, which is the most common, and then there's a 10 for more specific applications. Next up is the Tenzo 14, and that's a finger type connector that goes into a receptor. So these are the fingers and this is the receptor, and those two pieces just snap together. These have 30 pounds of clamping pressure each, and with a bead of glue, that's just going to hold everything clamped up until the glue sets up. For the applications where you have multiple Tenzos on one piece, let's say a face frame, and you want to be able to snap that together without having to get your partner in there to give it an extra push, they make a clip that goes into the opening on the Tenzo and spreads it open, so you're going to get less resistance putting that joint together. So now that that's together, you can line it up and snap that joint together. Next up, Dvario. Dvario is a sliding connection. The others are snap or cam connections. This is a sliding connection. It works really well for bookcases, for wine racks, any place where you want to create a cubicle, but it also is perfect for flat finishing, taking it to the job site, and easy assembly. This is the male side of the fitting, and that has two studs that are actually driven into two holes that are pre-drilled. And then the other side is slotted, but it also has the same Zeta P2 connection for the receptor in the end. And then the way that system goes together, slides on like this, press it into place, and that joint's together. It's very strong, and it's very durable. If you had to remove it, it could, but the more connections you have, the more connections like this, the more difficult it is to pull out. Typically, you'll have two of these on each shelf, so it's going to double what I just did. In the P system, we have the Biscos, not to be confused with the biscuits that were in the first predecessor, the original biscuit joiner. These are Biscos. They're the same thickness as any of the fittings, whether it's the Clamex, the Tenzo, it could be any of them. But this will give us a chance to dry fit or put in alignment pieces in a connection. So we've got the miter joint cut for the that we did with the Clamex. I've taken that out, and now we're going to put this in, and we're going to dry fit this connection. And you can see how clean that goes in, and it confidently tells you that it's going to work. Next, I'm going to recreate this miter joint with the Lamello and the Tenzo. We're using a Tenzo 10 because of the thickness of this material. First thing we need to do is locate where we're going to plunge with the Lamello. And I think we need to go to the deepest point to get the best result. We don't want to blow out the other side. So what we're going to do is mark this at that high point. We're going to put a mark back here on this one, and then this is the adjoining piece. We can just put these two together and transfer that mark to the opposite side. We're going to make the P2 plunge cut into these miter joints to make the connection with the Tenzo 10s, which are these two pieces that are going to connect together and make that joint. So we're going to set the machine up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to change this dial from 14 to 10. 10 because that's the depth of our Tenzo. If we had a 14, we'd definitely blow out the other side. The Zeta P2 comes with two shims that go onto this plate. There's a 4mm, which we're going to use on this application. There's also a 2mm. Those simply slide onto the plate, locked in, done. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we need to establish the angle that we're going to plunge at. So we're going to take the piece that we're cutting, we're going to set it on the plate like this, and then we're going to move it up and down until we get to the proper angle. And then we're going to lock that in. Double check to make sure the angle is correct. Hitting against the faceplate and also onto the mouth of the tool. And oddly enough, it's not 45 degrees. 60. Might be even 61. So as I mentioned before, we're going to establish the deepest part of that molding profile, which is right there. I'm going to bring my mark up here because that's where I'm going to register on. Make sure they've got the same mark on the other side, and we're ready to cut. So I'm going to line that up, make sure it's sitting flat onto the surface. Turn my tool on. Lining up the marks here. The unique feature of the Zeta P2 is that when that goes in, it's not just a biscuit joint. We've got these two grooves on the outside edge. That's what these fittings go into. And that's what's going to give us the strength of that connection. And once you put those in, slide them into place, try to line them up as best as possible. Now we're ready to put this joint together and see how we did. Oh boy, it's a tough one. Always is the first time, but that's our joint. It is a little bit flexible, so you can slide it up and down. I want to demonstrate how that groove is cut into the back side of the plunge cut. I'm going to put a mark right there. The first thing we're going to do is remove our 4mm plate that we were using for the 10. We're going to take it off of the 10 setting and go to the 14. And what actually happens is that when this plunges in, there's a little button right here. What happens is you get to that red tab, pushes the button in, that's what gives it the flutter at the end. We just slide it in the back slot, out, and we're good. We're going to wrap this up, but first I want to show you this one sustainer that's offered by Lamello that gives you a selection of everything you're going to need to get started and also continue working with the tool. First, we have the Clamex in a 14 and a 10. We have Tenzo's 14 and 10s, and also the clips. And then below we have the Dvario, which is that sliding connection. This is the post, the male side of it, and then this is the female side. Also have the Biscos in the 14 and a 10. The screwdriver to tighten up the Clamex. And then the insertion tool for the Dvario, the drill bit, and the drill stop. I want to thank all of you for watching this video. And if you have any questions or comments, put them down below.